If you're looking for an excuse to return to The Witcher 3, it sounds like Blood and Wine might just be it. CD Projekt Red's second and final expansion takes place in the colorful region of Toussaint, a duchy untouched by war southeast of Temeria in the land of Engren. For those of us who skipped out on Oxenfurt's geography class, all you need to know is that it's a new region southeast of Novigrad, and it kinda looks like a Mediterranean countryside. This new region is roughly the size of No Man's Land or Novigrad, and it's known for its wine, warm weather, and wealth. So how will you be spending time in Toussaint? Well, the expansion adds 90 new quests, 100 new pieces of armor, some of which include Witcher sets, more than 30 new weapons, a redesigned user interface, new mutations, and a vineyard to relax in Geralt's name. This should keep you busy for around 20 to 30 hours. Oh, and in case you were interested, there is a new Skellige Gwent deck. If you don't have the season pass, you can get all this for $20 when it launches. But when does it launch? CD Projekt Red hadn't given an exact date when they stopped by the office, but they sounded pretty confident that it would drop either in May or June. From what I could tell during my 3-hour hands-on preview, Blood and Wine takes place after the main story or right before some of the final quests in Wild Hunt. Just like Hearts of Stone, if you haven't finished the main game, or if you aren't a high enough level, you will have the option to start a new adventure at the beginning of Blood and Wine.
Can't get used to the way you knights talk, especially how you switch back and forth between flowery and, well, near normal.
My first steps in Toussaint brought back memories of being washed ashore in Skellige for the first time. What's striking about this new region is that you won't stumble across bloody battlefields and people ready to take up a side in the war. In fact, a lot of the inhabitants seem to have their head in the clouds, ignoring what's really happening in the continent. And can you blame them? Toussaint's rolling green hills, colorful vegetation, and warm skies are a sight to see. But it isn't just a pretty picture dotted with more question marks and exclamation points. It felt like a new world that's been around way before it was created in the books or when CD Projekt Red started designing it. The characters have a different accent, the armor and clothing looks nothing like what I saw in Temeria, and the landscape was entirely new. In fact, the developer that guided me through the preview said many of the assets used in Blood and Wine were created from scratch. Just like the main game, it's this detail that pulled me right in.
You I do not know, sir, nor seem you a knight, yet still I am profoundly grateful, nay, indebted to you for your succor. This trophy, sir, is yours.
But if the setting caught my interest, then it's the characters that demanded it. A year later, The Witcher 3's engine still holds up nicely, but it's worth noting that I did play this on PC. The facial animations are convincing, the voice acting is as good as you've come to expect, and the writing is still top-notch. Like Hearts of Stone, some of the best moments are when Geralt felt like a fish out of water. For instance, in one quest, Geralt must crash a festival in order to track down a killer. To find the killer, he needs to remove a ribbon from a horse dressed up as a unicorn and find a golden fish in a lake. Normally, you'd have to sneak up on the horse and actually fish for the golden fish, but time is of the essence. Using signs and his Witcher senses, Geralt cheats his way to the end. I couldn't help but grin as Geralt awkwardly tried to justify his behavior to pissed off citizens. Blood and Wine is still dark and very gory, but this lighter tone lets the characters really shine. But talking and sunbathing isn't all you'll be doing in Blood and Wine. You're still a Witcher, and that means you'll be slaying plenty of monsters. In the 3 hours I played, I fought 4 bosses. Some were pretty standard. Sign, block, parry, attack, but one in particular forced me to change up my playstyle. Simple blocks and attacks were useless. If you've played a Zelda game or two, you probably won't have much trouble figuring out this boss's weaknesses. But the fight kept me on my toes, and I was excited to see what they threw at me next. Probably one of the biggest changes to the combat are the new mutations. This adds another level to the progression system. A new mutagen skill tree lets you unlock a dozen or so new skills, perks, and abilities. Only one of these powerful skills can be equipped at a time, but some appeared to have dramatic effects. One skill that I got to see was a variation on Ard that increased its area of effect and froze any enemies caught in the blast. These new skills could allow for even more experimentation and give even experienced players something new and worthwhile to grind for. From what I played, Blood and Wine seems like an excellent send-off to a series I've become so attached to. But what about the characters? My favorite part of the Witcher series has always been the characters, and I was a little disappointed when I found out that Ciri, Triss, and Yen did not play much of a role in the last expansion. I'm a little worried that we may not see some of our friends and allies that we've spent so much time with. But this is CD Projekt Red we're talking about, and letting down their fans isn't something they typically do. I can't wait to see who Geralt will meet, what he will fight, and where this adventure will take him.